Good afternoon, everybody, from City Walk. It is looking like there is already some bad news for Halloween Horror Nights 2024, and we need to talk about it. Now, I don't know what is happening inside of the Universal Orlando Sphere Express Pass for most of the frequent Fear option tickets are already sold out. So you will not be able to get Express Pass for your frequent Fear purchases within the first few hours of it being live, which is crazy. A lot of people have that on their tickets. If you were not aware that they went live today, you are probably missing out on your opportunity. If you are just watching this video, there's a chance that all of the Express are already gone. We'll see when we get home and update you on that. Also, it looks like there was like Insidious announcements that came out a little too early. They ended up taking down the Ghostbusters merch and putting up Insidious merch, then pulled the Insidious merch back down off the shelf and put the Ghostbusters stuff back up. It almost seems like things are getting a little discombobulated here at Universal, and I'm very nervous for this year now at this point. Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Halloween Horror Nights, but this is just not how you want things to start to transpire, especially after we have just heard about the announcements of Epic Universe tickets. That has been something that a lot of people have been very negative about. This is going to be a lot of negative stuff going on at Universal, and I don't want to see that because I feel like they've been on such a good high right now of just like knocking things out of the park. But as of right now, I'm very nervous that some of these follow-up situations are going to ultimately be a pretty big detriment. Now again, this doesn't necessarily pertain to how the event itself is going to be, how the houses perform, how the actual scare zones are, the shows, etc. Obviously, I think all of that will hopefully be very good. What I am nervous about is just what is happening on the more technical side of things. Again, that is just something I'm super nervous about. The fact that, again, we see the Insidious announcement on the website when they talk about the frequent Fear stuff. So everyone's going to the website, everyone sees all this, and they're like, wait a minute, we don't even have this announcement yet. Then all of a sudden, like, Universal Horror Nights is like, yeah, by the way, here we go. Here's an announcement for Insidious. And everyone's like, oh, okay, like, kind of a random thing to do, just like out of nowhere. It felt like weird timing. Everything was just like goofy. Then all of a sudden they put all the stuff in the 5 and dime, and then they're like, oh wait, never mind, take it all down, but then put it all back. And I don't know, it's very weird. I'm coming over here now to see if it is back now. I don't know, I've seen it go once or twice, and now I see the Insidious merch, and now it's back out. What is going on? And there it is. We have the Insidious merch for the Further. So I don't totally know what ended up happening here, but now this has come out twice. So like, I don't know, it's so weird. Let's just take a look at the shirt itself though, so you can see the design on the front here. Let's see, I don't think there's anything on the back. No, and then we do have the Halloween Horror Nights 2024 on the rear. So kind of interesting there, and we have a candle. I feel like we're missing merch. I think we should be having like mugs and other things here. And I think things just got a little crazy in the past, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours right now. Also, again, $33 for the shirts, which is what they have all been at this point. It looks like on the back side here, we still do have the Ghostbusters shirt. This is so bizarre right now. You know what I do love though? The bubble wands. And I'm very excited to eventually get one. I want to make sure when I'm buying one that we're ultimately staying for the parade. We are not staying today. We are doing a quick pit stop here just to go check in on this merch. Like I said, very, very bizarre situation here. And I know a lot of people are probably going to be like, well, what does it matter? You know, they put merch out, they took it out, then put it back and did a, Uno reverse card multiple times. And it's like, who cares? It doesn't matter. And it doesn't really. Like at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter that much. But what is interesting is the fact that we're just not all on the same page here. Why are we putting out the merchandise after like potentially no announcement? Then they were like, oh, wait a minute, don't put it out. And then like, wait, no, go ahead, put it out. It's just like when things are kind of not cohesive like that, it makes you very nervous about things moving forward. And that's why I'm pointing it out. I'm not saying there's any bad things about it. It's not horrible. It's not crazy, whatever. I'm just pointing out there's a little bit of a disconnect going on inside of the HHN department here of some sort, because again, we wouldn't have had that kind of blunder, but now I think it's out for good. And I don't think we're gonna have a triple Uno reverse. I think a double Uno reverse is all we needed there to kind of like put it out, put it back, blah, 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 blah. Still just interesting to see how it kind of transpired. And I think what ended up happening is they didn't realize that it was on the website. Let's go home and now talk about Express Pass tickets for frequent fear passes. I'm very nervous about this. I am nervous that the team here at Universal is going to get a lot of heat over the next 24 hours because most of them are sold out. And I feel like there's a chance that it's gonna continue on until all of them are sold out. There is some good to it that I will talk about, but I don't know, be prepared. All right, we are back home and we're gonna go ahead and just kind of debrief everything. We might actually have some good news for you guys that we heard just on our way out, and I'll talk about that in just a second. But one thing I wanna point out is right here. So when you came to the website this morning, we were able to see the Insidious layout here, and it was like, oh, so there's an Insidious house coming because it's on their front page. So that's why this is kind of crazy what all happened. Again, people came to the website, noticed that we had Insidious. It wasn't announced. My guess is what ended up happening inside of the park was that management or whoever was like, okay, we're just leaving it for the day. Somebody came out and was like, hey, we need to take everything down, put up Insidious. They made an announcement. They went and did it. Then another manager or somebody else came over and they were like, wait, why is Insidious merch out right now? This isn't until next week or tomorrow or whatever. And they were like, take it down, put Ghostbusters back up. They did that. Then another person came over and they were like, what are you doing? Insidious was already announced. Put the Insidious merch back up. That's my guess is what ended up happening because, again, it just shifted around. And this is why. So as you guys can see, we have the Insidious announcement here. So when it does come to, again, this specifically, we are noticing that, again, we have the Insidious house. Now, what I want to show you is as we go to tickets and more, let's just click on one of these. We're just going to head into the entire bundle so you guys can start to see what's going on inside of this here. So you guys can still buy single night express tickets. I have been seeing. So if you click on single night, let's just do one person. It does look like we are getting a few days pretty much available all the way up until, I think, yeah, the entire event is available right now. It does look like it peaks at about 240 actually is your priciest. So either way, those are totally fine. And what we are looking at here are these down here. So we do have the frequent fear options out available now for the passes. But if you come down here, let's go ahead and look. If you want an ultimate frequent fear pass with Express, it is not available. Now, I thought this was a bug, but it is not, because when you first went to go buy it, nothing was available like this. And then like a minute later, it all popped up. So I think it was like the website was just kind of churning through. But you can see this is, again, Horror Nights ultimate frequent fear with that Express. And if you do just regular, you can see you can then choose your starting date. So you do need to be a little careful right now. If you guys haven't already bought, I mean, buy now. People tell you that all the time. Buy as soon as you can because stuff like this happens. And again, I'll talk about it a little bit, what we heard, and maybe we're going to be a little bit okay. I'm going to do the same thing here just so you can see. This is Frequent Fear Plus. Same thing. You can buy the regular, but if you come in and you do Express with it, not available. And again, I'm showing you there's not a single day available. It's not like it got bumped out. You cannot buy the Frequent Fear Plus. If we just do the regular, I think this one still has availability if I'm not mistaken. So you can still buy here. But if we come in here and we go to the Frequent Fear with Express, no, that one is gone too. Wow. So Rush of Fear, do they have availability? Let's see. They do. So Rush of Fear right now is the only option with Express as of now. That is pretty crazy. So obviously they only give you through September. So it's kind of nice if you are coming in September. I have friends that come down for that time frame. Obviously you don't get the last week of September or October here. But you can ultimately get the Express there. And then obviously just to show you, you can still just buy the regular. Obviously, if you could buy the Express, you can buy the regular one there as well. So you can see all of them are now sold out. This is on July 11th, 2024, 5:24 p.m. It went live this morning at like 11, I think, maybe 10. I don't know. But when I noticed that it was available, it was just before noon. So that is pretty absurd to think that we are already sold out of Express passes on all these. Now, immediate thoughts, I was like, oh my gosh, this is horrible news. Like this is bad. And I wasn't going to sugarcoat it. I was gonna be like, look, this is like
people that didn't realize, because there are people that didn't know that this went on sale today. Unless you're following these outlets, you wouldn't have known because they didn't make an announcement. And then like they kind of did last second. And it was like, you kind of heard it through the grapevines from other people. Just so you understand, you cannot, as of now, do anything about it. We did talk to somebody on the way out at Universal when we were kind of leaving. And we talked to an employee and they said to continue to check for Express Pass. They felt pretty confident that they will open them back up. So we can hopefully relax just a little bit, maybe, but there's no guarantee. Obviously, they don't know. They said on their system they couldn't do anything for the tickets or the passes, and he actually said that he missed out on buying the Express with this option because he didn't even realize that they were going on sale today until he got into work today itself. So they don't always communicate these things, it looks like, with their staff, and then they're not aware of it, so they don't know, which is kind of unique in a sense to say like, well, then everybody's on the same playing field, but then like there should still be like perks, I guess, if you are an employee. I don't know. I mean, whatever. That's a different topic. But just so you understand, there are people that work at Universal that didn't know that this was going on, and they are predicting that they will open up Express again. And I guess what ended up happening from last year, there was a lot of horror stories with Express, and I think they are kind of gauging interest and kind of figuring out the numbers, and then they'll ultimately hopefully release more. So keep in mind that this is not the end all be all. There is a chance that it comes back. And so what I would do if I were you and you did not get your Express and you wanted Express on your pass, as of now, probably don't contact Universal. You can try, because I think a lot of people, I mean, I was watching people just like all over the place. They're talking about it. I mean, people are upset right now. I am not hearing many good things, unfortunately. A lot of people are just being very negative. They're very upset about it. Rightfully so. We weren't totally aware that it was happening. And then all of a sudden it was like, boom, here it is. And they sell out quick. So if you didn't get it, you feel pretty bad about it. But you obviously can still get your pass, and you can buy an individual Express. So I guess that's still a plus there. But that is just something you got to keep in mind, is when we tell you like buy things ahead of time and buy them as soon as you know, you've got to do that. Now, one thing they did mention to us as well would be that if you buy the original pass here, so let's say you buy the ultimate frequent fear, you pay your $400 and they go on sale, you can then buy that add-on at a later date. So what I would do is, if you are planning on going and you plan on doing one of these frequent fear options or the rush fear, whatever, buy it now. Get it selected, get it bought. Don't let that sell out. But then if they put the Express, then you can contact Universal, tell them that you want to add that Express on and go from there, because I don't want you to be screwed over. This is big. I mean, this is huge to not have Express for any except for the rush of fear. I was not expecting that, to be honest with you. I was not expecting that at all. So that is crazy to see how quick this happened in just a few hours. So we'll see what ends up kind of coming from this. My guess is in time, we're going to go ahead and see the kind of release of some of these. And I only say that because I'm guessing it was a small batch, and they were like, how fast did they sell? What was it looking like? Whatever. I'm hoping when they release like another batch, if they do, again, there's no guarantee, but if they release another batch of Express for their frequent fear options, I'm hoping it doesn't go up, because it was over $1,000 for the ultimate fear with the Express per person. Over $1,000. That is more than our premier pass for Universal with 3 parks. By the way, we have the Islands, Universal, and Volcano Bay package with the Express after 4 because of Premier. So it's just included. But just so you understand, that is more than what we pay for that for one seasonal pass ticket with Express. So that is kind of nuts, which also makes me a little scared to see what they're going to do for Epic Universe. However, I just want to point that out for you guys. Just be mindful that when you see these things pop up, you have to buy them, because there is a lot of interest. So, and we can see they don't have these crazy IPs like they did last year. I don't think, in my opinion, anything is competing with Stranger Things or The Last of Us as far as big IPs that we had from last year, like we are seeing this year. I mean, Insidious, I don't think is on that same level. People love Insidious, but I don't think it has that same crowd that you would get between those two houses. Ghostbusters, I think, is pretty popular. Again, I don't know if it's grabbing that same type of audience that you were going to have there. I just think like those two IPs were insanely big. So I'm guessing last year's event will be slightly more or it would have been more busy than what we're going to get this year. That's just a prediction just because of the IPs that we have, or it was enough to bring people in. One other thing I do want to point out is this year for this Scream early ticket, I think it was like $30 or $35 last year. And it looks like this year it's $55. So it should be $55 across the board if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I was going to say they don't do surge pricing with that. It is just a flat 55, but that's kind of crazy too. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was 40. It was either 35 or 40 if I'm not mistaken. We didn't have to buy it. You get it with your annual pass, so you don't have to worry about it. But I do know like that is one thing I always recommended was to do the Scream early because you get in between 3 and 5. You can ride some rides and then you can go ahead and get it basically in line for a house as early as you want. And then you can, kind of knock out a few houses before it gets too busy. One thing that you need to remember though, for this, they're very much pointing out right there, after 5 p.m., you're forfeiting that Scream early ticket. So people that try and push the limit are not going to be able to do that. And, a lot of people got upset about that because they're like, oh, well, we're just going to go in a little bit early and then go get in line for the house. If you are not in by 5 p.m., you are not doing the Scream early and you are forfeiting your ticket. So a lot to kind of unpack here. There's things that we can kind of cover in a future video. I just wanted to explain to you that Express is sold out except for the Rush of Fear for the frequent fears. You can still buy individual nights if you guys want to do that for Express as well. We have an increase in price. I mean, across the board, obviously it being over $1,000 for Ultimate plus Express is crazy, but I mean, it is what it is. And then same thing here. We have the Scream early at $55 now, which is kind of nuts as well. Like I said, I mean, that's an increase. I'm almost positive. Somebody will have to let me know in the comments below. Was it 35 or 40? I swear we are up either 15 or 20 bucks, I think, at this point, which is, again, pretty nuts. So there was such a large demand last year. And my guess is one thing to kind of keep in mind that I said could be a positive out of this is the Express. If they are limiting how many people get Express, it means that the Express kind of craziness that a lot of people were talking about last year, I thought it was fine, but I know people were complaining about it. Maybe this really kind of fixes that and then ultimately shortens the actual queue times versus kind of having like so many houses at 90 plus minutes or 180 plus minutes or whatever it might be. If they don't have a ton of Express, that doesn't mean there's a lot of people in Express that they need to kind of sift through because they really just flood it. They just let tons of people in Express through and a very minimal amount of people in the standard queue go when I've seen it kind of get backed up. So this would help alleviate that problem. But the people that want Express now are kind of out of luck if you didn't pick it up as of now. We'll wait and see. But that would be the one upside here would be to say, okay, well, if you have Express or you buy that Express for the day of, maybe it's not going to be as much of a letdown because I know some people said that they were, really disappointed. They waited still an hour long, for some of these houses when it was like 90 minutes or something. And they ended up waiting, almost as long for the Express, which again, we did videos on that. And I highly recommend you guys go check those out. We'll do them again this year just to kind of do an updated version to that, testing Express versus standby queues or kind of like the Express versus like the posted waits. And honestly, I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was worth every single penny. And I, highly encourage people to do the Express if that is something that you guys want to do. But I also understand it is incredibly pricey. But if it is in the budget, it is something that I would say is probably the best thing that you can add on. And then the next best thing would then be the Scream early ticket. However, these are also now $55. I think a single night of Express is maybe $150. So for like an extra $100, you could just Express it and then you don't have to worry about this. Again, there's a lot of combinations that you can do, and we could sit here and talk for 3 hours on just like what best combinations could be. I just wanted to cover that. I know this video is already getting a little long, but hopefully you guys were able to kind of see what is going on here. I am sorry that if you did not get your Express, that you are a little out of luck at this point. I hope they open them again and you guys can ultimately pick them back up. and maybe they make a better announcement about it this time. But that would be what I'm hearing from, again, one of the Universal employees. They said they really do think it's going to happen because they kind of saw what happened. They want to do it in batches and see what goes on. So every single day I would open up that app, double check if you can go ahead and buy the Express, and kind of work from there. So hopefully it isn't too crazy and things kind of get better. But again, today was just a whirlwind of things going on, right off of the coattails of the Epic Universe multi-day ticket kind of fiasco that's going on. So we were at a real high with Universal, I think, and we are kind of trickling down a little bit with some of the stuff going on, because if that does turn out to be true, people are going to be really upset about their Epic Universe vacations. With this being sold out, if they don't come back, people are going to be really upset about that. So we need to kind of wait a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I don't know, wait some time, and hopefully things kind of, come back to reality a little bit, and we kind of even things out, because it feels like things are not going well. I'm reading a lot of negative things right now for Universal, unfortunately. But again, I understand where people are coming from as the consumer. I could see why that would be really upsetting, but I'm hoping that isn't the case. I hope things do kind of get better. I hope they do single day tickets for Epic Universe. I hope they reopen up the Express Pass for the frequent fear options, and we can kind of get through this without any problems. When that does happen, I will let you guys know. I'll probably post it on Instagram. I'm not going to make a full video talking about it, but I did want to let you guys know that at this point we are sold out except for the Rush of Fear, and by the time this video releases, there's a chance that one is sold out as well. So keep checking and keep refreshing every single day if you don't have it. Again, buy your tickets now, buy your frequent fear passes now, add on the Express if it comes out. Get your tickets now. Don't miss out. I'm sorry if you did not. Hopefully we kind of cleared some of that up, but either way, thanks for hanging out with us today. See you guys in the next one. Hopefully things are a little bit better then. Take care.